It was a bright Monday morning. The office was full of noise, phones ringing, people laughing, and the sound of keyboards clicking fast. But in one small corner sat Maya, a quiet and humble lady. She always came early, never spoke much, and did her work with full heart. Maya was different. She didn't wear fancy clothes or heavy makeup. Her hair was simple, tied in a bun, and her smile was soft. While others tried to impress the boss, she only focused on her job. She believed that kindness and honesty were more important than showing off. But not everyone thought like her. In the same office worked Rita, the manager's favorite. She was loud, proud, and always looking for ways to look better than others. She liked to show power. Whenever Maya did something good, Rita found a way to criticize her. "Maya, your report is late again," she would say. Even when it wasn't, others laughed because they wanted to stay on Rita's good side. Maya never replied. She just smiled and said softly, "I'll fix it." Her silence made people think she was weak. But inside, Maya was strong. She just didn't like to fight. She believed time would show the truth. That morning, a big meeting was announced. The company's owner, Mr. Kana, was going to visit the branch. Everyone started running around, cleaning desks, printing files, and dressing sharp. Rita walked around giving orders, pretending to be in charge. "Maya, go bring coffee for the guests," she said with a smirk. Maya didn't complain. She quietly went to make the coffee. As she carried the tray back, she heard laughter behind her. Rita and a few others were talking loudly. "She looks like a maid, not an employee," one of them joked. The others laughed. Maya froze for a second. The words hit her heart, but she didn't show it. She took a deep breath and kept walking. When she placed the coffee cups on the table, Rita looked at her shoes and whispered, "At least polish them next time." The room filled with quiet giggles. Maya's hands trembled. She wanted to disappear. She looked down, trying to hide her tears, but she forced herself to stay calm. "It's okay," she told herself silently. "I am not here to impress them." Just then, the elevator sound echoed. Everyone turned their heads. The doors opened and a tall man in a dark suit walked in. His presence was strong, confident, and calm. It was Mr. Kana, the billionaire owner of the company. The entire staff stood up quickly. Rita rushed forward with a fake smile. "Good morning, sir." Maya quietly stepped back, trying not to be noticed, but then something strange happened. Mr. Kana's eyes slowly searched the room and then stopped. He looked directly at Maya. A small smile touched his lips. Everyone noticed. Rita blinked, confused. "Sir, this is our new staff," she began, but Mr. Kana raised his hand to stop her. He walked closer to Maya. The whole office went silent. You could hear only the ticking of the clock. "Maya," he said softly, "how are you?" Gasps filled the room. Everyone stared. How did he know her name? Why was the billionaire talking to her so kindly? Maya looked surprised too. Her lips parted, but no words came out. "I'm fine, sir," she whispered. Mr. Kana nodded, looking around the office. His expression slowly changed, his smile faded, and his eyes became sharp. He noticed the nervous faces, the fake smiles. Something inside him knew something was wrong here. He looked back at Maya, at her tired eyes, her trembling hands. He could feel that something had hurt her deeply. He said nothing, but his silence was louder than any words. The whole office felt the tension rising. Rita stood frozen, her fake confidence slowly breaking. She didn't know that this man, the billionaire owner, was not just any man in Maya's life. He was someone far more important. And in the next few moments, everyone in that office was going to find out exactly who he really was. The office stood in silence. Everyone's eyes were on Mr. Kana and the quiet lady he had just spoken to, Maya. No one moved, no one breathed too loud. It was as if time had frozen. Mr. Kana turned slowly, scanning the faces around him. The fake smiles vanished. He could see the fear in their eyes. Something about this place didn't feel right to him. "Who is the manager here?" he asked calmly. Rita quickly stepped forward. "Sir, that would be me." "Rita Sharma," she said with a nervous grin. Mr. Canna nodded once. Good, he replied. Then I expect you to take good care of all your employees. Rita's smile stretched wider. Of course, sir. We always do. But Maya's eyes dropped. She knew the truth. She wanted to speak, but her voice was locked inside her heart. Mr. Canna noticed her silence. He turned to Maya again. Can you show me your recent work? He asked gently. Rita interrupted before Maya could reply. Oh, sir, Maya's new. She's still learning. I wouldn't waste your time with her reports. The words cut deep. Maya felt small again, just like before. But this time, Mr. Canna's eyes darkened. I didn't ask you, Ms. Rita, he said sharply. I asked her. Everyone froze. Rita's smile cracked. She stepped back quickly, pretending to look busy. Maya hesitated for a second, then slowly walked to her desk. She brought a file, old, clean, and neatly organized. Her hands were shaking as she gave it to him. Mr. Canna opened the file and began reading. The room was silent, except for the soft sound of pages turning. His eyes moved carefully, scanning her work, reports, summaries, and small notes written in perfect detail. After a few minutes, he closed the file. Impressive, he said softly. This is one of the best reports I've seen in months. Maya blinked, shocked. Rita's mouth fell open. The others exchanged confused looks. But, she's just an assistant, Rita muttered under her breath. Mr. Canna heard it. No, he said firmly. She's more than that. He looked directly at Maya again, and for the first time. There was warmth in his eyes, not just professional respect, but something deeper. You've done good work, Maya. Very good. Maya's lips trembled. Thank you, sir, she whispered. Rita tried to recover. Of course, sir. She's hard-working. I always support my team, she said quickly, trying to sound innocent. But Mr. Canna didn't even look at her. He turned back to Maya and said quietly, How long have you been working here? 2 years, Maya replied softly. I started as an intern. I never got promoted. Mr. Canna's eyebrows raised. 2 years? She nodded. Something inside him shifted anger mixed with disappointment. Who handles promotions in this branch? He asked. Rita's throat went dry. I do, sir. But what? He interrupted. His tone was calm, but the silence after it was heavy. I didn't think she was ready, Rita stammered. Mr. Canna looked at Maya again. And yet her work is the best here. The entire office felt the storm coming. People started whispering softly, afraid of what would happen next. Then suddenly, Mr. Canna smiled. All right, he said in a lighter tone. Carry on with your day. Everyone exhaled in relief. Rita smiled again, thinking she was safe. But as he walked toward the door, Mr. Canna stopped. He turned one last time and said, By the way, I'll be back tomorrow. I'd like to meet with Maya, privately. A hush fell over the room again. Maya's eyes widened. She nodded shyly. Yes, sir. As he left, everyone stared at her. The same people who laughed at her now looked curious, even nervous. Rita forced a laugh. Don't think too much of it, she said to Maya coldly. He probably just wants to check your file again. But deep inside, Rita was trembling, because that look in Mr. Canna's eyes wasn't the look of a boss. It was the look of someone who knew Maya, someone who cared. And tomorrow, a secret was about to come out. The next day would not be like any other day. It would change everything, forever. The next morning, the office buzzed with nervous energy. Everyone came early, dressed better than usual, kept whispering about the same thing. Mr. Canna was coming again. Maya reached quietly at her usual time. She wore a simple pastel-colored sari and carried the same old handbag she had used for years. Her calm face hid the storm in her heart. She didn't understand why the billionaire had asked to meet her privately. She barely knew him. Or at least, that's what everyone thought. Rita, on the other hand, couldn't stop worrying. Her confidence from yesterday had vanished. She paced in her cabin, reapplying lipstick and checking her reflection every 2 minutes. It's fine, she muttered to herself. He probably doesn't remember what I said. At exactly 10 o'clock, the sound of polished shoes echoed across the marble floor. Everyone stood up. Mr. Khanna entered, tall, composed, wearing the same calm yet powerful expression. His presence filled the room again like a quiet storm. "Good morning," he said politely. Everyone greeted him back nervously. His eyes moved around the office but stopped when he saw Maya. For a second, his face softened. "Maya, shall we talk in the meeting room?" She nodded quietly and followed him. The glass doors closed behind them, leaving the rest of the staff staring and whispering inside. The air felt heavy but warm. Mr. Khanna looked at her for a long moment before speaking. "It's been a long time, hasn't it?" Maya froze. Her eyes widened in surprise. "Sir, you remember?" He gave a small smile. "How could I forget?" A wave of emotions crossed her face. Confusion, relief, and something close to fear. She sat down slowly. "I didn't think you'd ever see me again," she whispered. "I didn't plan to," he admitted. "But fate has a strange way of bringing people back together." He looked out the window for a moment before turning back to her. "You could have told me, Maya. Why didn't you?" Her voice trembled. "Because I didn't want anyone to think I got this job because of you. I wanted to earn it on my own. You always said self-respect is everything." Mr. Khanna's eyes softened. "You've always been like this, quiet but strong. Do you know how proud I felt yesterday, seeing your work?" Maya smiled faintly, tears forming in her eyes. "Thank you, Arjun." Outside the meeting room, Rita and others tried to peek through the glass. "She called him Arjun," one whispered. "Wait, she knows his first name?" Another gasped. Inside, Arjun Khanna leaned forward. "You've done well, Maya. But I didn't like what I saw yesterday, the way they treated you. No one deserves that. Please don't do anything," she said quickly. "I can handle it." He gave a quiet laugh. "Still the same Maya, always protecting others, even when they hurt you." Maya looked down. "People think I'm weak," she whispered. Arjun shook his head. "They have no idea who you really are." He stood up and opened the door. The office fell silent again. Rita pretended to be on a call. Others started typing loudly. Arjun's calm voice broke the silence. "I'd like everyone to gather here for a quick announcement." Within minutes, the whole staff stood in front of him. Maya stood quietly behind. "I visited yesterday as your owner," Arjun began. "Today I stand here as something else." He looked toward Maya, his eyes filled with pride. "This woman, whom many of you ignored, insulted, or laughed at, is my wife, Mrs. Maya Khanna." The words hit the air like thunder. Gasps filled the room. Rita's face turned pale. She dropped her pen, unable to breathe for a second. Maya's eyes filled with tears. She looked at Arjun helplessly, but he smiled gently as if to say, "It's all right now," he continued. "For 2 years, she worked here silently, doing her best without using my name. That shows her honesty. But what I saw here yesterday showed me something else. How cruel people can be to the kind ones." No one spoke. The room was silent, except for the soft hum of the air conditioner. Arjun's tone grew cold. "So, today, I'm making some changes." Everyone's hearts pounded. Rita took a small step back, her lips trembling. But before Arjun could continue, Maya touched his arm softly. "Please," she whispered, "don't be harsh." He looked at her for a moment and then nodded slowly. But his eyes still burned with quiet anger. He turned back to the staff. "Tomorrow morning I'll return, and those who forgot what kindness means will face the results of their own actions." He left the room. The office remained frozen in shock, and Maya, the humble lady everyone once mocked, stood silently, with tears of both love and fear in her eyes, because she knew the storm was just beginning. The day after the big revelation, the office didn't feel the same anymore. The usual laughter and chatter were gone. Every desk was quiet, every smile forced. People whispered in corners, pretending to work, but really just waiting for what was coming. Everyone knew Mr. Arjun Khanna was returning, the billionaire. The husband of the humble lady they had mocked, Maya arrived early, as always. She wore a plain cream sari and tied her hair neatly. Her face looked calm, but inside, She was trembling. She didn't sleep much last night. She had begged Arjun not to punish anyone. They made mistakes, she had said, but please don't destroy their lives. Arjun had only replied softly, "You showed them mercy for 2 years, Maya. Now let them face truth." She didn't know what he meant by that. But his eyes had been full of pain, not for himself. But for her, by 9:30, everyone was in their seats. The sound of his footsteps echoed again. This time, no one dared to breathe loudly. "Good morning," Arjun said, walking in calmly. His voice was polite, but his presence made everyone's heart race. He stopped in the center of the office and looked around. "Where's the manager?" Rita stepped forward slowly. Her confident walk was gone. "Sir, I'm here," she said softly. Arjun nodded. "Good. Let's start then." He picked up a file from the nearest desk and flipped through it. "Interesting," he said. "This branch made record profits last year. Impressive numbers. But when I looked deeper, I found something else." Everyone froze. "I found a pattern," Arjun continued. "Hard work done by one person. Credit taken by others?" He looked directly at Rita. "Do you want to explain that?" Rita's lips trembled. "Sir, I don't understand what you mean." He placed the file on the table. "Maya's reports. Maya's plans. Maya's designs. All submitted under your name." The color drained from Rita's face. "Sir, that's not true. Don't lie," Arjun interrupted quietly. "I checked the data myself. You changed the file names, not the content. You forgot the metadata." The office gasped. The truth hit everyone like lightning. For months, Rita had stolen Maya's ideas and claimed them as her own. Maya stood silently in the corner, her eyes full of tears. She wanted to stop him, but her voice refused to come out. Arjun walked slowly toward Rita. "You see, I don't like liars, especially those who step on kind people to climb higher." Rita fell to her knees. "Sir, please. I needed the promotion. I didn't mean to hurt her." Arjun looked at her for a long moment. Then he said coldly, "You didn't just hurt her. You humiliated her in front of everyone, the same woman who once helped you finish your first report." Everyone turned in shock. Rita looked up, her eyes wide. "She told you that?" "No," Arjun said. "I remember it myself. I was here visiting under a different name. I saw how she helped you and how you repaid her." Maya finally spoke. "Arjun, please, enough." Turned to her. For a second, the fire in his eyes softened. "You still want to forgive them?" She nodded quietly. "Yes, because forgiveness is strength, not weakness." Arjun took a deep breath. Then he turned back to Rita. "You're lucky my wife believes in second chances," he said firmly. "You will resign today not because I order you, but because you've already failed as a leader." Tears rolled down Rita's cheeks. "Yes, sir," she whispered. Arjun looked around the office. "And to the rest of you," he said, "learn from this. Respect is not about money or clothes or power. It's about humanity." He turned to Maya. "And from today, Mrs. Maya Khanna will take the role of branch head. She earned it not through my name, but through her work." The room broke into silence again, but this time it was filled with respect. Genuine respect. Maya's eyes filled with tears. She didn't want power. She only wanted peace. But now, peace had finally found her. As Arjun walked her out of the office, she whispered, "You didn't have to do all this for me?" He smiled softly. "I didn't do it for you," he said. "I did it for justice." And as they walked away together, everyone in that office realized one thing. Kindness may be quiet, but it is never weak. A week passed after that unforgettable day. The office had changed, not in color or design, but in feeling. The air was quieter, softer, filled with a kind of respect that hadn't been there before. Every time Maya walked in, people stood up, greeted her politely, and actually meant it. But Maya didn't act like a boss. She still came early, made her own tea, and smiled at everyone the same way she always had. Her heart hadn't changed, even though her position had. Arjun often told her, You don't have to do everything yourself anymore. She would just smile and say, "Old habits die hard." However, not everyone accepted her so easily. Some employees still doubted her. They whispered when she passed by, "She's only here because she's his wife," one said. "Let's see how long she lasts," another added. Maya heard them, but she didn't respond. Instead, she worked harder. Every day she stayed late, checking reports, reviewing projects, and helping junior staff. She didn't shout or threaten. She guided with patience. Slowly, people began to see that she wasn't just the billionaire's wife. She was a leader with a golden heart. One evening, as the sun painted the sky orange, Maya found a young intern crying near the pantry. She quietly walked up to her. "What happened, dear?" The girl sniffled. "I made a mistake in the client file. I think I'll be fired." Maya smiled gently. "Then we'll fix it together." The girl looked up surprised. "You'll help me?" "Of course," Maya said softly. "We all make mistakes. The only real mistake is not trying to fix them." They spent the next hour correcting the file. By the end, the girl smiled again. "Thank you, ma'am," she said. Maya patted her hand. "Call me Maya," she replied. That night, when Maya left the office, she saw Arjun waiting in his car. He stepped out with that familiar warm smile. "Madam Branchhead," he teased gently, opening the door for her. She laughed. "Don't start that again." As they drove home, Arjun looked at her with admiration. "You know, I watched you today. You handle people better than any manager I've ever seen." "I just handle them with kindness. Sometimes people don't need control. They just need someone to believe in them." Arjun smiled. "That's why you'll always be stronger than anyone who tried to break you." The next morning, Maya was called for a meeting with the company board. The members were mostly older men, people who didn't like change, Isley, one of them said. "Mrs. Kana, we respect you, but this company needs results, not emotions. Are you sure you can handle this role?" Maya looked calm. "Sir," she said softly, "I don't lead with emotion. I lead with understanding. When employees feel valued, they work harder. You'll see the results soon." There was silence for a moment. Then one man nodded. "Let's give her a chance," he said. 3 months passed. Under Maya's leadership, the branch's performance improved faster than anyone expected. Employees worked with energy, clients praised their professionalism, and even the board members began to notice. At the quarterly review, Arjun sat at the back watching quietly as Maya presented the results. Her tone was clear, confident, yet humble. When she finished, the room burst into applause. One of the senior directors stood up and said, "Mrs. Kana, your team has achieved record growth this quarter. Congratulations." Maya smiled gently. "It's not just my achievement," she said. "It's the result of a team that finally learned to trust one another." After the meeting, Arjun walked up to her. "You did it," he whispered proudly. Maya looked at him with soft eyes. "No, we did it. You gave me courage when I had none," he chuckled. "And you gave me faith and goodness again." As they stood together by the window, looking at the city lights below, Maya realized something deep. Revenge could destroy people, but kindness could rebuild them. Her journey from humiliation to respect wasn't just about power. It was about proving that even in a cruel world, grace could win. And though her story wasn't over yet, Maya had already won the biggest battle, the one inside her heart. Asterisk, a year had passed since the day everything changed. The company had grown stronger than ever. The branch Maya led was now the best performing one in the entire organization. Clients praised her leadership, employees admired her calm wisdom, and even the board looked at her with respect. But for Maya, success was never about numbers. It was about peace. Peace in her heart and peace around her. Every morning, she still arrived early. She still made her own tea. Some new employees didn't even know she was the owner's wife. To them, she was just Madam Maya, the kind boss who listened before she spoke. Arjun often teased her. "You still work like an intern?" he would say, with a laugh. Maya would smile and reply, "That's how I started, and that's who I'll always be." Despite her calm, something deep inside her often reminded her of the past, the humiliation, the whispers, the laughter behind her back. She had forgiven everyone, but sometimes forgiveness carried its own quiet ache. One cloudy afternoon, she was reviewing reports. Her assistant knocked on the door. "Ma'am, someone wants to meet you," she said softly. "Who is it?" Maya asked. The assistant hesitated. "It's Rita." Maya looked up slowly. For a moment, she didn't say anything. She just stared out the window, watching the rain fall softly against the glass. "Send her in," she finally said. A few seconds later, Rita entered. She looked nothing like the proud manager from before. Her eyes were tired, her clothes simple, and her face filled with guilt. She held an envelope in her hand. "Maya," she began softly, her voice trembling. "I didn't think you would agree to see me." Maya gestured to the chair. "Sit down." Rita sat, gripping the envelope tightly. "I came to say sorry," she said. "Not for the job, not for the promotion, but for the way I treated you. You didn't deserve that. I was jealous, angry, and stupid." Maya stayed silent. Rita continued, tears filling her eyes. "After I left, no one hired me for months. I lost everything. I realized what kind of person I had become. You gave me kindness, and I gave you pain. I'll regret that forever." Maya took a slow breath. "Rita," she said gently, "we all make mistakes. What matters is whether we learn from them." Rita wiped her eyes. "You still sound the same. Soft, kind. I don't know how you do it." Maya smiled faintly. "Because anger only burns you, not the person who hurt you." Rita looked down. "I'm starting over now. A small job and a small firm. I wanted to thank you for not ruining my life when you had every right to." Maya stood and placed a hand on her shoulder. "You don't need to thank me. Just be kind to someone else when they're weak. That will be enough." Rita nodded, tears falling again. She stood up and said, "You're a better person than I'll ever be." After she left, Maya walked to the window and watched the rain again. She felt light, not because she had one, because she had let go completely. That evening, Arjun picked her up from the office. As they drove home, he noticed the calm smile on her face. "You look peaceful today," he said. "I am," she replied softly. "I met Rita," frowned slightly. "You met her? Why?" "To forgive her," Maya said. "Completely." Arjun was quiet for a moment, then smiled proudly. "You really are stronger than me, you know that?" Maya laughed gently. "No, I just learned that peace is the best revenge." As the car drove through the rain-soaked streets, the city lights reflected in her eyes, soft, golden, and full of hope. Her journey had begun with humiliation, pain, and silence. But it ended with strength, love, and forgiveness. Maya had proved something rare, that true power doesn't come from anger or wealth. It comes from grace. And as she looked out the window, watching the world pass by, her heart whispered the truth she had lived to prove. Even the quietest soul can create the loudest change.